to Razz Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing Aquaman. This movie is the 6th installment in the DCEU and it's directed by James Wan, who's famous for the Conjuring movies. This guy took kind of a sharp turn, huh? The story follows Arthur Curry, otherwise known as Aquaman, as he reclaims his title as King of Atlantis and tries to stop his half-brother Orm from attacking the surface and declaring war. This movie is actually insane, in both a good way and a bad way. Now, it's not a secret that I'm not the biggest DCEU fan in the world, but I actually found this movie to be enjoyable. There's a lot of cool moments in it, but also it has a lot of flaws. But it doesn't really take itself too seriously, so it kinda gets a pass. What I enjoyed and found very surprising is how far they actually go for the mythos. I mean, they really go over the top in this movie. It's very campy, and they really dug deep into the mythology of Aquaman. And I thought that that did the comic book justice in a very nice way, especially the New 52. And of course, Jason Momoa as Aquaman carries this film big time. He brings such a cool, edgy persona to the character that I think works really, really well. I mean, he's such a badass hunk of a man. My God, Jason Momoa is very attractive. I had to fan myself. And I liked his relationship with the new characters. I thought that Mera worked really well. She's also very attractive. I mean, this movie is like full of eye candy for many people. I thought Willem Dafoe's character was very interesting. I liked him a lot, and I liked Orm, pretty cool. Patrick Wilson did a great job playing him actually, and I found him very compelling. And also Nicole Kidman was a standout for me. I really liked the character of Queen Atlanta, and I liked her story, and I really liked her fight sequences. Speaking of which, I extremely liked the fight sequences in this movie. The choreography was really, really cool, and also the sweeping camera movement gave it a fluid kind of feeling that fit the Atlantean style. It kind of felt like they were dancing on the water. And I thought James Wan really nailed the visual style when it comes to the fight sequences. They were pretty awesome. The visual style of the whole movie is actually very striking. I mean, this film is visually a complete spectacle. I really liked how Atlantis looked. It's kind of like a Tron meets Asgard underwater kind of thing. I thought it was pretty cool. It's nothing I've ever seen before. And of course, as expected, it's a complete CGI party. It's like CGI fest. No party like a CGI party. Sometimes the CGI looked pretty good, but other times it did kind of look like a video game cutscene. But it was always big and it was always over the top, and this is a movie that definitely benefits from an IMAX screen because most of it is really made for that format. And that's the thing, this movie is such a mixed bag. There are parts of it that are really cool and really effective and really fun, and other parts that are full of questionable decisions. I mean, there are some weird moments in this film that don't feel like they belong there or don't belong with other moments in the film. Like sometimes it was really cheesy and sometimes it was actually very cringy. Like, why? I didn't know how to react to some of these things. Basically, this movie is plagued by two things. Number one, it's schizophrenic, and number two, there's too much of it. I mean, when I said that the movie is insane, I meant certifiable. It has a personality disorder. It switches between different movies and styles so much that you have no idea what kind of style or mood it's going for. Basically, it goes from like a Marvel Phase 1 kind of movie, and then it turns into an Indiana Jones action-adventure movie, and then it becomes a Sandra Bullock romantic comedy movie, and then it turns into a James Wan creature movie, and then it suddenly becomes a Star Wars battle film, and then suddenly it becomes a Zack Snyder broody epic movie. Like, you can't really keep up with these different styles. And that's also reflected in the soundtrack, which is absolutely nuts. It switches between like the Steven Spielberg string style, and then suddenly it becomes like this goofy thing, and then suddenly Pitbull shows up, Mr. Worldwide, and he sings, and I'm like, what am I listening to? There's just so much, and that's what I mean when I say this movie is so much. This feels like 4 Aquaman movies shoved into one. There's so many things going on, and so many characters, and so many plot elements. It's so much, it's really overwhelming, and it kind of dilutes a lot of things that could have worked better and could have been more impactful had the film been a little bit simpler. For example, Orm is a great villain, but we didn't really need Black Manta in this movie. He was sidelined too much, and I don't feel like the character was done justice. He's amazing in the comics, but here he was more like a an overrated henchman, really. Even Aquaman and Jason Momoa's over-the-top personality and character kind of fades towards the third act of the film. He kind of gets drowned out in the chaos. Get it? Drowned out? Because he's Aquaman underwater. Smart. It's just a very overwhelming film. It moves very fast. There's so much going on. You don't really get to latch on to anything. And also, the emotional impact kind of gets sacrificed because you don't have enough of a connection with what's going on because there's just so much going on. At the end of the day, I think different people are gonna have very different reactions to this movie. Some might like it, some might not, but I personally did enjoy it. I didn't have a bad time at Aquaman, despite the fact that it's a mixed bag of many things. And that's because inside that cluster of a movie, there's a smaller, really good Aquaman movie that I latched onto, and that's why I ended up having a good time. So for me, I'm going to give Aquaman a 7 out of 10. So, have you seen Aquaman? What did you think about it, and where does it stand on the list of DCEU films for you? Let me know in the comments section, and as always, like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to ask me what you'd like me to review for you next. See ya!